2 weeks have passed, and the gondola ship Monstro has been in the Khanjali healing from its fight with the warship. The gargantuan creature is currently favoring one side. The other is nursing a fin that the crew has had to graft back onto its body. The anatomy of these gondola are confusing to say the least, but with the healing mists of the Khanjali, at least it stands a chance. In the interim, salvage teams have been assigned to scavenge what they can from the Imperial wreckage. The salvage team placed in direct charge of this operation is the Concords from the Assembly of the Coalesced, a religious order run by Esdes fundamentalists. While the small reptilian Concord don't fully invest in the teachings of the true spirit and true vessel, they can at least understand the value of their symbiotic relationship with their technologically superior Esdes comrades. Drifting several clicks from the main wreckage, one of the warship's engine tunnels drifts dead in space. A Concord team are in spacesuits and are scaling the walls of this massive metal tunnel collecting gamma crystals, a byproduct that forms when gamma radiation interacts with the alloy lining in the tunnels, while another team works to dislodge the ignition trigger from its housing. The crystals will power everything from suits to laser guns to life support, while the trigger will fetch a good price wholesale at most shipyards. The Concord number 12 in total, and have an automated shuttle waiting at the opening of the tunnel to transport them and their haul back to Monstro. Everything is running smoothly until proximity sensors on the shuttle alert the salvage team leader Nasher to an incoming swarm of Neshu. The parasites are drawn to this exhaust tunnel due to the overabundance of gamma crystals. Andrew, please describe what your character looks like for us.
All right. Well, Nasher is just a skinny. Well, so lizards are pretty dry, but if you could imagine something being slimy, he is a slimy little bastard. He is a short in stature, pretty skinny, gaunt looking face and physique, and kind of hunched over at the shoulders. And it's pretty much it. Red scales.
Yeah. We discussed Concords having longer snouts.
Yeah, so think more like alligator snout. Or
Gecko maybe?
Gecko is good. Yeah.
All right. So where are you in the in this tunnel? And what do you plan to do about this Neshu?
I am as far away from them, from the entrance as possible, because I believe that I would know that this would be an issue.
So you're probably working on getting that ignition trigger out of its housing currently.
Yes, I am.
There's a small swarm of Neshu beating down on you guys. They've entered the tunnel, blocking off your exit. There's probably 100 of them. What do you plan to do about it?
Well, got this crispy new character page. I've got some character abilities that I think might do some good. So I have something called Scrap Heap Ingenuity. It's when you spend a few... never mind. It takes a couple hours. I can't do that.
Yeah, you're a couple hours and you might not have skin anymore.
Okay, well, how about this then? I would like to use my other ability. It's called Tech Attunement, and I can detect and advance tech of the world before. And when you focus your senses, the GM will let you know how much tech there is within a few hundred meters and roughly where to look. Maybe I could use something and unleash power to try to get them out.
Okay. So there's definitely you realize that this ignition trigger is still connected to an active fuel source. There's a little bit of antimatter left in its chamber, and with the right sequence, you can actually fire the afterburners.
Are we sitting in the afterburners right now?
You're sitting in the tunnel where the engine ignition would come from, yeah.
So if I were to turn it on, would everybody else die?
It depends on how good your Unleash Power roll is, I would say.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go shit, shit, shit. All right. I'm just gonna turn it on. Oh, plus lore. I have a positive in lore this time.
Yeah, you do.
That's a 10.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, so on a 10 plus, pick 3. The device does exactly what you wanted. The device can be used again. You don't rouse other devices in your environment. You avoid the device's side effects.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go with the device does exactly what I want it. So I want that shit to turn on. I guess we won't rouse other things, and I want to avoid the side effects at least.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't really care about anybody else.
For sure. So naturally, you are burning the last of the ship's fuel, or the ignition's fuel. So it will not be usable again. You get the one chance, and so you trigger this thing, deciding to go for like a medium burn. And like gamma flames shoot from the trigger just ahead of you, and just light the Neshu swarm on fire. They are screaming and howling in pain as green flames engulf them. Many fall to the ground, to the bottom of this tunnel. The ones that don't start to turn tail and run. Only a handful are like moving in to attack your allies, and one of the Concred, Bulger, is just like, "What the hell? You could have burned us all!"
You know what? Are you still alive?
Yeah, I guess I am.
That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. Get your shit together. We got some stuff to take care of. I'm gonna try to pick apart whatever I can and then start running, I guess.
Yeah. Do you have like a scavenging roll, like a move for that?
Yeah, it's called Scrap Heap Ingenuity, and it takes a couple of hours to do.
I mean,
yeah. So
you can. How about this? You can give me a roll, and we will assume that this is a roll you have done from earlier.
Okay,
right?
cool.
Where you are kind of at the end of it and have been working on it since beginning.
Okay, cool. That's a 4.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So here's what happens. You are kind of like distracted by the several Neshu that are still going after your allies. They are like, they've pulled out their like little laser guns and are just like firing at them and trying to fight them off, somewhat successfully. And due to this distracting scenario, this subtracting circumstance, you like push the crowbar or pry bar or whatever you've got to finish detaching this ignition trigger, and it comes apart in like a really loud creaking kind of noise, and the whole trigger starts floating out, and is actually going to impact one of the walls and knock 2 Concred off of their handholds and out into space, and then the trigger breaks apart, so you lose it.
Fantastic. Yeah. Could I is there any like, do I have any of this like gamma crystal on me?
Yeah, you've collected
it.
a handful of it in like a little vacuum tube.
Okay, I am going to what was the dude's name? Bulger. Okay, great. I am going to put the gamma crystals that I have on him, and I'm gonna shove them into space and see if they'll follow him.
Okay. That feels like feels like a diffuse roll.
That's what I was gonna say too. With steel, right?
Yeah.
Quick action.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
You could also argue
like
for sway if you have sway. Like misdirection, like,
No,
what's that over there?
I'm negative. I'm negative in that one. So yeah, that's a 7 for that.
A 7, so mixed success. You've bought some time, but choose one. The GM will demand a sacrifice to secure your safety. It's only a temporary reprieve, and the danger will soon return. The danger is still present, but threatening someone or something else.
No, choose the last one.
Yeah, I felt like you might. So the Neshu swarm definitely goes after Bulger. You can hear him like screaming in your communicator. I think you just like switch it off. Don't really want to hear that. And the others kind of just like they like you can see their mouths like moving quickly, like they're yelling, and you're just like can't hear you.
I can't.
And they shrug their shoulders and kind of all scurry towards the automatic transport. 2 of them will not make it as what remains of the swarm kind of bear down on them. So in total, your casualties for this mission, you started with 12, and you have lost 5 along the way.
They weren't worthy.
It's just a regular Tuesday.
Yeah, they weren't worthy for the true hunt. They're not. There's no reason.
Couldn't possibly be a leadership thing.
No.
Your leadership was flawless.
Flawless. I am the best. I am the only one.
So
okay.
You gather back it all into the auto transport and dump your crystal hull into the hold and hit the return coordinates to fly back to Monstro. And Bulger's brother, thinking of a name, Cable. Let's call him Cable.
Love it.
Turns to you and says, I'm going to be mentioning this to Longclaws, just so you're clear.
Hey, all I can say is he should have been smarter. Had his back turned. You'd do the same to me, wouldn't you?
I would have kept the crystals. It's good money.
Yeah, well, it looks like we got a fair amount anyways. We can always go and get those, I guess. Well, maybe not. Semantics at this point.
Look, Bulger's... Well, he was an idiot. Let's not be mince words about that. But that trigger would have bought the Great Hunt quite a pretty penny.
Yeah, well, you can see what you do with Longclaw, but I think I might be able to smooth him over if you know what I'm talking about. It's your word against mine. We got higher percentage in return on recruits this time than last time, so I feel like more numbers means more stuff for tomorrow, right?
I don't know. It's all up to the Esdes now, isn't it?
Yeah, sure, I guess.
And we will return to Monstro. And yeah, you're going to get reprimanded by Longclaws again, more for the loss of expensive technological components that would have, gotten you guys a sizable payout.
Yeah.
Bulger's wife and child are a little miffed at you for pushing him into space, and Cable's gonna comfort her like protectively, but what can you do, right?
Yeah. Live to fight another day.
Yep. Little Bulger right. Jr. is just gonna have an uncle from now on.
That's right.
All right. So we're going to move away from the scrapyard, the home of the Conquered here. They've built little lean-tos and huts in the large cargo bay of Monstro. And we're going to go down the hallways to one of the smaller loading bays, where a line of Imperial officers captured during the battle await judgment from a young but grizzled-looking Imperial woman. She stands tall with 3 lightly armored Imperials and a Fielnil holding a large club backing her up. These are the Berets of the End, a ragtag group of revolutionaries and Imperial dissidents who have gathered for a common cause, ending the Empire's tyrannical rule. This line of prisoners kneel on the ground, avoiding eye contact with you and your allies. Several of the Imperial prisoners have the look of low-ranking foot soldiers, likely conscripted from Imperial colony worlds. They are young, fresh-faced children who know nothing of the rigors of actual war. However, one Imperial officer sits tall on his knees and wears Second Legionnaire bars and a stalwart "do your worst" expression. Jordan, could you please describe your character for us?
Yes. Tavia Angela Sibelius is tall and slender and fairly muscular and can only be described as pink. Very pink skin, very pink hair, completely blacked out eyes. She has fairly gaunt facial structure with high cheekbones and a mean scowl.
Are there any, do you have any, like, alien grafts, or are you completely just, like, gaunt pink humanoid?
Baby, I was born this way.
Fair enough. So yeah, you've got a line of prisoners in front of you. You've got most who look just like, kids that got conscripted, didn't really have much of a choice in the matter. And there's this one guy who he's an officer. He's a second legionnaire. And he does not seem impressed by you or your freedom fighters.
I'm gonna spit in his face.
His hands are bound, and you spit, and he just closes his eyes, and he opens them and says, "Is that really necessary?"
I'm just not gonna say anything. I don't know.
So what? You're like the kid captain? This is who I'm supposed to be afraid of?
Well, considering who has the power right now, I'd say you should be very afraid of me.
Nah, you won't hurt me.
I'm gonna kick him in the stomach.
You'll... I mean, you can beat me up all you want, but I'm not saying anything, and you're definitely gonna keep me alive. If you know what's good for you.
And why do you think I would do that?
Because I'm well connected with the legate. You do anything to me, well, your life is forfeit.
I didn't get this far in this battle by being afraid.
Well, good. You've at least got some resolve then. But if you think any of us are talking, well, you're wrong.
I don't actually know what to do.
Well, you're kind of like determining what's to become of them.
Yeah.
Right. You're settling their fates here. So, you've recruited in the past this way. If you felt that there was any that would be sympathetic to the cause, or at least could be re-educated.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also dealt punishments. You've spaced people. Like, it's not your job is not a pleasurable one.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna just address the group, and I'm going to tell my inferiors to remove the children and take them to separate quarters.
Okay.
And
so there's like 3 in this line of maybe 15 that are like probably below the age of like 20.
Okay.
And they're like escorted away.
Cool. So I'm going to address the remainder of the group, and I'm just going to say, listen, the Empire will go down. I plan to see to it personally. As far as I'm concerned, you're all either with us or you're against us. Make your choice.
This Legionnaire speaks up again and says, "We're not scared of you."
I'm gonna nod to one of my comrades to just open the airlock door briefly, and I'm just going to kick him out.
Okay. The Fionel holding the club, he's like your second in command, and yeah, he's gonna go over and just like with his like claw hand just kind of smash down on the airlock button, and the whole back wall like opens up and starts to, you know, pull people slowly towards the opening of space, and you just put a foot on the chest of this legionnaire and help him go, and he's gonna slide across the ground, trying, like, he's like scrambling to get a handhold on anything, and just like very unceremoniously and pathetically flies out into open space.
Cool. And then obviously we can shut those doors before we all meet the same fate.
Yeah. And like the murmuring amongst the Imperials is just like, oh my God, she's crazy. She could have killed her own people. Like, what's going on? And the Fionel goes, shut up. And everyone goes quiet.
I will once more repeat myself. You're either with us or you're against us.
They're just kind of waiting for you to tell them what that means. How do they prove that they're, like, what are they supposed to do to say that they're with you? Did they verbalize it, or is there a line in the sand that they have to walk across, or do they stand up?
Yeah, they can stand up.
All but one of them is going to stand up.
Okay, I'm going to open the airlock door and kick that one out. And everyone else can go to, like, secure quarters where they're still
under observation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you keep their hands bound, and they're paraded off, and the Fionel is left just alone with you, and he says, I think that was the right call. That Legionnaire had the look of a troublemaker.
There's only room for a few of us in this operation.
Everyone else either needs to get in line, follow orders, or get the fuck out.
Things are getting tougher around here to keep control of. We've got all these recruits, and we've got all these, it just feels like we've got a bunch of kids and a bunch of guns, and not enough of us to take charge of things. We need to start converting some of these commanders. I
agree. I think the one that didn't stand that lady. I don't know. We could have. You like people with good convictions.
I do.
She was loyal enough to stay with the Empire. If we can turn more of them, they'd be loyal enough to stay with us.
You know what? I think that's something I should keep in mind. Thank you.
No problem. And if you want to address this guy, his name's Malbec.
Malbec. Thank you. I'm gonna write that down. How do I spell that?
Yeah, it's Malbec.
Oh, that's what I was gonna guess.
Yeah, if I mention an NPC, I've fucking just come up with them on the spot. You are able to do the same thing. If you're just like, I point out that guy in the crowd, and his name is Jeremy. Like, that's a thing you can do. I mean, if you want, you can like ask me what the naming conventions for the species are if you want to be authentic. But yeah, pretty much I'm just going to throw out a name, and then you can write them down, and then they can become a pivotal character for you, or a quick character for somebody else to play.
Right.
'Cause like if the Berets of the End wanted to go on a mission by themselves, Andrew can pick up and play Malbec.
Yeah.
Demi can play another,
Jeremy.
person that you've named. Yeah, Jeremy. And that's how that's going to work. So, Cable now is somebody that is in the Concred clan. We know him. We know him. We know of Longclaws. We did know of Bulger, but he's dead now, so that doesn't matter.
If Bulger Jr. doesn't get a redemption arc, I'm going to be upset.
Well, Bulger Jr. is like a literal child, so like we're not gonna play them, but yes. So yeah, and is there anything else you wanted to discuss with Malbec before departing? Any final words or orders about what to do about these new people?
I'd like the prisoners to remain under surveillance and bound until I've interviewed all of them individually, and we can see where their loyalties really lie.
Yeah, he's gonna just like kind of with his claws just kind of groom his long whiskers. Say, sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Oh, while I've got you, the primary was looking for you.
Work.
Yeah, she wanted you on the main deck, and guess it seemed urgent.
I guess I'd better head up that way. Thank you.
Sure.
See to it you make our prisoners as comfortable as possible, or at least as comfortable as a lack of freedom can possibly be. They should be used to that by now anyway.
Yeah, we've just switched the leash from one hand to the next.
For now.
For now.
All right, I'm going to go up to the main deck.
Liberation comes in stages. And now we're going to move once again to sort of similarly ragtag, but this is actually in the promenade. There's like an alcove in the promenade where a like big dirty sheet has been hung over the partition to hide what's going on inside. And we go in and we see a large group of Vochinth. This is the first time that the audience has seen Vochinth. And I'll kind of let Demi describe what they look like with Plavarelia, but that's in a moment. The sirens of the Silent Star Sea have heard mention from the lips of some of the Imperial war prisoners that several Vochinth mutants are being experimented on a nearby military facility. The rumors are just kind of quietly circulating. Your spies have picked up on them. And evidently there is a prisoner currently in the brig, an Imperial, who might know something by the name of Magnus Barius Colomo. And there was also mention of a data file stored locally on a computer still active somewhere in the rubble of the warship. You won't be able to go after both, so it will be a choice of which lead you will follow. But we're gonna zoom in on Plavarelia, and you can give us a description, Demi.
Okay, so Plavarelia is a feminine-looking humanoid alien and this is like with all of this like Vochinth, like they have effeminate faces, but they're like constantly shifting to a form that is like the most attractive to whoever's looking at them. So no one really knows what any Vochinth really looks like. And this is a characteristic that is exclusive to Vochinth mutants. They have like abyssal black pupilless eyes that look almost as like there's a sheen over them that kind of resembles like light desperately trying to escape but can't. They have, instead of hair, they have fine tentacles that flow back. They all wear like nanosuits, which can be described as like skin tight gelatinous suits that almost make them appear naked. And for the sake of modesty, they use some of their hair tentacles to cover their breast areas. And they have bluish periwinkle skin that is very shiny, so their skin itself almost looks like gel. They have multiple voice boxes.
Would you say, I mean, you might say they just have like a thicker than average throat.
Yeah. And their voices, like, kind of sound, I don't want to say like computery. It just always sounds like there's like lots of voices all speaking at once, but in unison.
So yeah, you've heard this rumor that there are Vochinth mutants being experimented on. You don't know where. So that's the information that you're trying to obtain. There's 2 ways to go about it, and so but you can only attempt one of these. The one involves an interrogation, which you are fairly skilled at, being a Vochinth, and then being an extra strong mutated Vochinth. But there's also, a jaunt through open space and a rubble field, which you'd feel equally equipped to handling. So it's your choice which one you go with.
Interrogations are more fun.
Okay. We're going the social route.
Definitely going the social route.
Okay, so I'll say this. You are not technically allowed in the brig. There's definitely, like, your group keeps to themselves, but, like, spies on people, so there's some distrust there between the other factions, certainly the Jagger on board, and so they don't particularly like you poking around the brig.
Okay, so I take it that there's someone who's going to try to stop me if I go.
Yeah, if you walk up to the front door and say, I would like one entry into the brig, please. They'll say, no.
Okay, how many people are there?
Standard array. There's about 6 Jagger soldiers on guard of the brig, and there's 12 cells.
Okay, starting off, I'm guessing my spies just told me about everything I've just heard, and now I am headed to the brig.
Yeah.
So, Plavarellia approaches the brig. There are apparently 6 Jagger soldiers there.
Yeah. I mean, a spread out. There's one at the entrance.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. Hello. I seem to be in requirement of some assistance. Can you spare one of your protective soldiers to come with me to help me with the situations that I have?
Well, there's several troops on the promenade. That's kind of their job. We're supposed to stay here in the brig.
Well, as you know, everyone is so busy with their daily routines that I figure that you must be a little bit bored and can spare one soldier to assist a damsel like myself in distress. It would be greatly appreciated if you could come assist me with my task. It shouldn't take too long.
What is it?
Me and one of my sisters are attempting to reach something that is beyond our reach. Very simple task.
He just kind of looks at you like 1,000-yard stare. It's just like, and you need me for that?
Well, yes, we are very fond of the height of your kind, and such distress would provide an arousing entertainment as well. I'm sure you wouldn't mind the company of 2 beautiful ladies such as ourselves, wouldn't you? Also, please. I throw in a please.
I mean, we can keep going back and forth and talking, but I would like a move, please.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. This is what I was trying to do. Yeah. So I have my character power, Inhuman Elegance, And it says when I spend time alone with someone, they become fixated on me. And then I can roll a sway for a hold, to place a hold on them. And whatever that hold is, they
Okay.
can,
Well, that's fine. How are you gonna convince them to get away from the group? Like, without just using words. Like, there's.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna do what is that? Is that a like?
I don't think it's a diffuse or a fiercely. There's no
roll,
danger
it?
right now, right? You're just kind of having a conversation.
Okay.
You can do find common ground.
I do have a +1 sway. Okay. I rolled an 8, so +1 is 9.
Okay. 7 to 9. Their player. So I'm gonna pick 2, and both must be met. So they'll only do it if they can add or remove specific things to the task, and you give them something now that's worth it.
Okay. What do they want to add to the task?
They would like to go to the bar on the promenade with you first.
Okay.
He is he like you're right. He's bored. He would mind getting a drink with, as you said, 2 attractive young ladies. So yeah, he wants to get a drink first.
Okay. And do I get to choose what I give him that's worth it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, tell me something and he'll decide whether it's worth it or not.
Okay. So what Plavarelli is going to do is she is going to use her hair tentacles to perk her breasts.
Okay. Yeah. Jagger don't find Vochinth particularly attractive, but it's enough.
Oh, wait. Oh,
yeah.
well, okay, I guess.
Like, get an Imperial or, like, a human or another Vochinth or Fielnil, and, yeah, they're definitely gonna, like, go quickly. But, yeah, Jagger are not especially attracted to you, but, yeah. Again, you're doing a good job. He's intrigued, at least for the idea of getting a drink. So, yeah, he will accompany you.
Okay. So I guess, do we like time skip to the bar, or are we walking and talking to the bar?
You can time skip to the bar. It's only like, you're on the the brig is off the promenade, so it's only like there's a bar across the street. It takes 2 minutes to get kind of a table and get drinks in your hands.
Okay.
Is there another siren with you? Did you mention a second one?
Oh, yeah, but she's kind of just, like, there.
Yeah, Cantella's a little ditzy, but she's doing her best.
So, okay, so we are here having our drink. What makes a Jagger want to guard a brig anyway?
Well, I got a strong sense of duty, so I know that the prisoners in the brig are big bad guys, and I want to keep my people safe, so... Plus they, like, burned our homeland, and that wasn't cool.
That really wasn't. And believe it or not, we have suffered a similar persecution just for being ourselves. So we flee and we run just to try to find some home that we can make ours. And just like you, I too have a strong sense of justice. And because of that, I know that you wouldn't really permit me to enter the brig, but I have discovered interesting news, and there's someone that I need to simply talk with. Is there any possibility that you can allow just a few minutes of time for chat?
I feel like now would be a good time to use your move.
Yeah, I was like going into it. So I want to use my character power in human elegance. So she begins by sort of just staring at the Jagger with her black abyssal eyes. Almost like the gravity of them is pulling his soul into them. And
yeah, it helps that Quintessa is also like stroking his muscles and like, you know, just kind of draping herself over him.
Definitely adding to the ambiance. Oh, hell yeah. I rolled an 11, so +1 is 12.
I was gonna say, I was like, if you didn't roll super well, Contessa could have come in and given you like a help action, but yeah, no need.
Right. Thanks, Contessa.
That's another name you can write down, by the way.
I like it. Now, it says here that with the inhuman elegance power, that like whenever they spend time with someone, that they get a hold on them. On a 10 plus, I have 3 hold. If it's a NPC, while I have hold over them, they can't act against me. And while I do have hold on them, they can spend that hold 1 for 1 by giving me something I want, giving me secret information, protecting me from harm, or introducing me to someone important.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah. This guard is he's going to go, "Oh yeah, you just want to talk to somebody? That's fine. I don't see a problem with that. I mean, it's not really, you're not like trying to break them out or anything or murder them. So yeah, talking's good. This drink's really strong, huh?" And he's just like sipping through his like turtle beak, like a little fruity drink.
I find their enjoyment of these drinks here very refreshing. So, I guess, if you don't mind, how about we take that stroll over to the brig and you can inform your buddies that this little introduction will be no more than a few minutes.
Sure. So yeah, I mean he's gonna spend 1 hold to escort you back to the brig, special privileges, and he's gonna spend a 2nd hold to introduce you to the prisoner, Magnus Barius Colimo, and he just like unlocks the laser grid. It's just like bars, but they're made of lasers, and lets you sit down in, and then he pushes the laser button again and says, "I'm just gonna be down at the end of the hall whenever you're done."
All right, thank you. You have done well.
Greetings, dear listener, from beyond space and time. I am the Game Master. Every episode, I like to take a second to appear, hat in hand, to ask for a little bit of financial support. If you enjoy what we do, please consider becoming a subscriber at patreon.com/roll_warriors. This really is a ton of work that the whole crew puts in for every episode, and your contributions could help make it even better. $5 a month is all it takes to become a patron, and we do have some bonus episodes available for backers and the opportunities to suggest what you would like for us to do for our next bonus episode. I've begun the process of mastering and polishing the vast collection of music from Season 1 of Roll Warriors into something of an album. Now, the final product won't include everything that I composed for the season, but I have selected tracks that I felt could stand alone as music worth listening to. Keep an eye out for more information in the future about the release date and place for this album. I will most likely be creating a deluxe version of the album as a Patreon exclusive, which will include more tracks and perhaps even more goodies, so be sure to subscribe today. If money is tight right now, which I totally get, consider following us on Twitter at Roll Warriors and sharing us with your friends and family. Word of mouth is a really powerful tool, and you could help us out immensely just by getting your friends listening as well. That just about wraps up the ads, so I will let you get back to the episode. Magnus is sitting on the cot. He's just crisscross, legs with his arms also crossed, and he's got his eyes closed. And he doesn't open them when you come into the cell. He just says, And what do I owe this introduction?
You owe this introduction your absolute attention and time if you want to escape it with your life.
He peeks one eye open and sees you standing there, and he says, I suppose I'm not doing anything else, am I?
So, it has come to my attention that there is somewhere where my sisters are being the subject of experiments. What do you know about that?
Well, you, muties make for good test subjects. That's...
Muties?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to fiercely assault.
Okay.
Alright, so 9, but I have -1 force, so it's an 8.
Okay. I mean, it's still a mixed success either way. So you're going to get to pick one from the character list. And what are you attacking him with? Is it your voice?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
is it like a sonic blast?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or, yeah, so I kind of just want to display the attack abilities of this Volchith. So she's just going to... I guess it's not like a sonic blast. It's sort of like... She's just going to do kind of like a soprano note, and it's just going to kind of start making his brain bleed.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Like, we can establish here in the fiction that different sirens manifest their voice powers differently. So whereas the one we saw assaulting the warship was like literally like shooting people against the wall, that's not how you operate.
Yeah. So theirs are just kind of like, I guess, like, yeah, just like emitting sound waves that just hemorrhage brains. And I guess I get to choose 2 of these? Okay.
One. You get to choose one.
Sorry. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to inflict savage, terrifying harm, frightening, and dismaying your foes. So, Plavarelli is just going to... So, is this the sound that you refer to us as muties with?
So he gets to, I mean, I get to choose 2, right? So there's blood coming from his nose, and quicker than you're able to react to, he is going to bolt up from his cot, grab you by the shoulders, and headbutt you. So you're going to take 1 harm. You can hear other guards starting to like make a noise, and you hear the one that you have holdover going, "They're just talking. It's fine. Like, just let them hash it out. I'm sure it's going to be okay." And you can just hear like people are just going like, "No, move out of the way." So yeah, that's the situation is destabilized and chaos will follow. So there you go.
Okay, and it says for my harm boxes that like with the 1 harm, I start shape-shifting. So, I guess the way that a Vochant can shape-shift is...
Like your skin, right? You just like...
Yeah, so her skin, I guess, is just kind of like pulsing, and her hair tentacles are kind of just wrapping around her like body to create sort of like a scary appearance.
Sure.
Her head leans back. She kind of just like spits out blue alien blood. And she goes, "Okay, I see that you are feisty for someone who's confined to a room with lasers. This is how this is going to go." Am I still alone with him?
Yeah, for the moment.
Okay, so can I use my character power again? On a different person?
You can. I'm gonna say that you're probably not gonna do great if you don't roll well. I mean, the consequences are bad because you have hurt him now. So like hurting him and then trying to play nice isn't necessarily going to work.
Well, I guess it wasn't even really going to be like a play nice thing. It was just going to kind of forcefully make him comply.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Kind of so like a instead of the sharp piercing brain hemorrhage that you just gave him, it's kind of more just like a dull, consistent shock.
Yeah. Low Okay, so I do have a question. Okay, so with this power, like, if they do become fixated on me, well, the fixation can be on the sound.
Yeah, I mean, but also the fixation could be a negative, right?
Right, that's what I was
like.
Yeah,
he could become
positive.
fixated on you in a bad way, as in now that after this interaction, he is going to like remember and want to get revenge or something like that.
Right. So, okay, cool. All right, I just wanted to like kind of know the nuances of like this power before we like got into it. Okay,
Yeah,
which is great.
This is kind of like our first foray into alien magic, and so I want it to be fun for you, but it needs to be grounded, because like this isn't the type of game where you just have like a bunch of spells and powers and stuff that you can throw at enemies. It's a storytelling game.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so Plavarelia is going to stand tall, and her hair tentacles are kind of just gonna like flare out like all around her like a giant lion's mane, exuding a big dominating presence as she does a low hum to just slowly like screw into his mind. And on that roll, on that note, I'm gonna roll another Inhuman Elegance roll. Okay, and this one was a 7. Plus 1 is 8, so I guess it's just a mixed success.
Okay.
I have 2 hold, and I should have did this to begin with, because it says they can't act against me. So maybe I should have started off.
Live and learn.
It was the muty thing. The muty thing pissed her off.
Sure. He did it on purpose.
So anytime I can spend the hold 1 for 1 to inspire or distract them with thoughts of me or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to use one of those hold to have him give me secret information.
Sure.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just like, he's struggling through like the pulsing in his mind. And he's like, the outpost under the command of Legate Brutius Celium. You'll never get them to them, though. It's heavily guarded.
I thank you for that information, and I've never been the one to be afraid of dealing with the little guards, as you can see.
Yeah, and with that, the guard that you befriended has like been pushed out of the way, and the others are gonna come into the room and say, "All right, your time's up," and like just kind of like grab both of your arms and pull you out of the brig. And you kind of just get like pushed out unceremoniously, and they're just like, "Don't come back."
Thank you. I don't plan on it. And Aurelia, I guess, goes back to the group of other Vochinth mutants and relay that information. So they are... I was trying to write his name down, but I didn't get all of it.
It's Brutus Celium. It's a familiar name for Demi the player.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Asshole.
Yeah, and Contessa says, "We'll put that in our logs. By the way, you didn't happen to piss off the primary, did you?"
I may have.
Because she summoned you while you were out.
I don't know what this could be about. I don't remember.
I don't know. I figure you did something to upset her, Plavarellia, as is your custom.
I mean, it's possible and likely. I guess we'll entertain her.
You have fun with that.
You do not wish to join?
I would not, no.
Oh, confesso. Okay, hold down the fort until I return. Allow no intruders. Allow no listeners. Allow no disturbances.
It will be done for the good of the sirens. Ever watchful of the silent star sea.
Plavarellia, I guess, makes her way to the primary.
Okay. In the meantime, Nasher, you have been informed by Longclaws. He's just like, I can't believe I'm saying this. The primary would like to see you.
Hey, like I said, big things coming from your guy. Big things. Just you wait.
I swear to God, Pipsqueak, if you fuck this up for us.
Have I ever fucked up anything for you? I mean, come on. It's been nothing but...
Interrupt me again. See what happens. You'll get the claws. If you fuck this up for us, no food scraps for a week. None.
All right, boss. You got it.
So the three of you, now all separately ordered to the main bridge to talk with the primary, all arrive relatively the same time, and you're kind of like in the attending area. The adjunct Rillo stands tall and just menacing, and he says, "She'll see you in a moment."
Damn, this is a strange crew. Who the hell are you guys? Oh my gosh. Got some super tall person and another like really naked person. What is? I don't even. This is something else.
And do you talk too much? How about you just wait to see why we're summoned, and then hopefully we won't have to see each other anymore if this is.
I've been told that like it. The more I talk, the better it gets. It's fine.
The more you talk, the more I want to silence you.
Don't worry, it'll rub off on you eventually.
I'd like to see when it does.
What about you, Beanpole? What are you doing here?
Beanpole.
Yeah, my planet used to have. It's got. I'm sorry.
Finish the thought.
Don't you know what beans are? We grow our beans on poles. It's.
Okay, I'm gonna mute while I laugh. I'm so sorry.
Anyways, those beans on the poles are really tall. You're pretty tall. What are you doing here?
When the primary calls.
Do you have any idea of what she called for? I do not expressly remember causing any ire.
I have no idea, and frankly, I have better things to do.
Don't we all? I was just in the middle of making preparations. This couldn't be any more inconvenient.
Rillo gets like a little zap on his skin and goes into the other room and comes back. He says, Primary Genji will see you now. Try not to embarrass yourselves too much. And he looks specifically at Nasher while he says it.
I'm like scratching on my neck. I'm like scratching my like flaky, nasty scales. Like, I don't know what are you looking at?
Ooh, does he have like one of those gobble gobble chameleon neck flaps?
I'm gonna say no. I know what you're talking about though. That'd be pretty funny. Gobble gobble.
I immediately pictured when you said that.
Fucking turkey fucking turkey gobbler, like
Right. Yeah, like, or is it iguanas? Is it the iguana thing? You know, the flat thing?
they got
Some lizards
the
have it.
yeah.
The doors are opened to you, and you are welcomed onto the ship's bridge. This bridge is very, like, it's super impressive. There's kind of view screens that extend, like, probably up to, like, 60% of the ceiling is just, like, window, and kind of, like, curves down and away from you for a seemingly, like, long distance, to where there are people seated at several consoles at the far end of the room. There's just a wide circular area with one chair that kind of sits above everything, and seated in that chair is Primary Ganji, who I've described before as having kind of just, like, very bright and shiny, kind of like corn cob scales almost. Like, it's a golden color, and they catch the light that way. Squared shape to them. And she's just kind of sitting cross-legged in her chair, very casually. And she says, the three from... We have a beret, we have a assembly representative, and we have a siren. Wonderful, wonderful. You three have no idea why you're here, do you?
I do not. I do not remember accepting hire. I feel that I've been on my best behavior.
Well, I did hear about an incident on the brig about 20 ons ago, but that's not what this is about. I've called you in here because I don't have jurisdiction to tell the Berets of the End or the Assembly of the Coalesced or even the Sirens what to do. You are all free agents, and you're welcome on the ship, even if you don't want to help with this thing that I'm going to ask for. But I would urge you to consider it, because my troops are stretched thin as it is, dealing with keeping this sector safe. And this nebula, and she, like, kind of gestures to the outside where you can see the swirling kind of magenta and purple nebula. The Kanjali is extremely important to us, to the resistance of the Empire. The birthplace of all gondola happen here, and these ships are our lifeblood. Without them, we would not be any threat. Imperials have closed off all shipyards and have all but, exhausted our cash supplies. We're down to scraps. But the gondola have been a godsend, and there is a military outpost just outside of the Kanjali that now threatens its existence, that threatens our foothold here. And this outpost is run by a nasty individual who I'm thinking, if I'm remembering correctly, Tavia, you might have a personal beef with. It's Legate Brutus Celium. And you recall...
Did you just say Brutus Celium?
Yes. So, Tavia, you recall, he's a brutal officer, and he wears a scar across his face that you gave him in a previous encounter.
I remember it well. What do you need us to do?
The outpost needs to be eliminated. And it's not going to be an easy task, because, well, first and foremost, he's got a large warship, bigger than the one that we fought here 2 weeks ago, that patrols that sector of space and guards him. There's the outpost itself, which is heavily armored and has anti-air weaponry and a troop complement that rivals anything that we can throw at them. And there's listening posts all around, so we can't even make an approach without being picked up. This is truly a colossal front, and if we're going to survive, if we're going to make it out of this, we need everyone to cooperate. I need help from each and every one of your families to combat this. I'm going to be speaking with the astronauts that joined us as well. I think they call themselves that. One of their crew members, a scientist, was captured by the Legate and is most likely being held prisoner there. So you might speak to them and gain their support. I will also say, and she kind of looks at Nasher, the outpost has a large treasury. If more than survival would be your motivation.
Hey, you are speaking my language. If there's stuff to be had, I will take it.
It's good to hear. Can I count on your support? Can the Jagger Defense Force count on your 3 families to aid us in this coming battle?
Well, just this once, you've housed the support of the Sirens. Interestingly enough, this Brutus Calum has warranted their destruction by our hand. This is interesting. I saw this as an inconvenience before, but this couldn't be more perfect. It's as if this has been fated.
I'm glad to hear it. I don't really need to know the specifics of why the Sirens want him out of the picture, but he's a bad man, and I'm sure he's made countless enemies across the Garen zone.
Though he has made his last.
What say you, Beret? Are your freedom fighters up to the task?
Any fight against the Empire is a fight for the Berets. I'll inform my men.
Very good. I can't offer much in terms of compensation for this, but if you need me for anything, just ask. And mechanically speaking, that's a treaty.
Yup.
Got it.
I'm gonna mark
Writing
it
it down right now.
Yeah. Additionally...
Okay, so what is this family like? What is Primary Ganji's family?
She's the JDF, Jagger Defense Force.
Oh, okay.
So do we erase? Because I have a bunch of stuff written down. I say we have 1 on them and they have 3 on us right now.
You can add another 1 on them.
Do you take 1 away?
You don't have to erase anything. No, you still owe them 3 favors. But if you do this for them, not only will you get a treaty, but you'll probably, they're cashing in their favor from you. So that's, if you have any, if they have any, like, if they owe you for anything, you definitely cash it. I'll say in addition, just like now that we're doing handing out resources, Tavia, you got recruits. You got a surplus recruits from that batch of prisoners. Nasher, you are going to get a surplus of scrap.
Nice.
And Plavarelia is getting a surplus of intel.
Alright, I can always use intel. Oh, wait. Okay, so can I do a subterfuge roll for the Jagger Defense Force?
Not at the moment because we're zoomed in. But
Okay.
you can in a later session.
Okay, cool. Wait, so is subterfuge, that's a family
That's
thing?
a family
Or
move, yeah. That you're using your family's
Okay.
resources to spy on people.
do that?
Oh, subterfuge.
Okay,
Ooh,
cool.
getting spicy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I feel like Primary got some secrets, and I want to know them. So,
You think everyone's got secrets.
yeah, but
It's the nature of your character.
right.